This Purdue grad transfer 7-3, but Chris, you're an analytic guy. How does he lose 4 jump balls and he wins those ones tonight?
I don't think analytics can solve that one.
What would you look for on that? He added inches?
Exactly. I don't know what to do with that one.
Early going BYU trying to get offensively back into a rhythm. Last year, such a good offensive team. This year, it's been more difficult to find easy shots, and Pacific is a grinded-out defense.
They certainly are a grinded-out team. You talked about in the open how Alex Porcello is 1 of 11 from 3, but the strength of this team is pounding the ball inside to their bigs. Averette
with a good start for BYU. The grad transfer who played at Utah Valley last year averages more than 10 a game. He also struggled from the floor, 0-5 from beyond the arc in the loss on Wednesday.
You're talking about a guy who's a slasher, who can make shots as well. Anytime you don't have to run plays and you can just make a shot on your own, it's big time.
That's great.
Initially, and that's what Stoudemire has done as well, but they have not shot the ball well, and that's why they have to manufacture some baskets if they're going to have a chance to win this game. Just keep in mind when you're watching BYU throwing the ball inside, obviously Averette takes a 3 there, but they like. Just keep in mind when you're watching BYU throwing the ball inside, obviously Averette takes a 3 there, but they like to go inside and high-low to the big fellas and work them off the ball screens.
Matt Harms had the offensive rebound, working very hard down low against Jordan Bell. Both grad transfers. More effective player, Harms, has only made 3 of those this year. Afraid to take it, and he rattled one in.
And he's shooting 12% from 3, and he knocks that down. And they even had a post-up high-low situation. You see what Pacific is doing. They're fronting the post, and they're windshield wiping on the passers, but can't windshield wipe for a 7-footer shooting from 24 feet.
No, he made 7 last year at Purdue. Cockrell on the drive.
First-round draft pick that played at Washington. A good friend, my assistant coach, Yacht Reed, is the head coach there now. Big-time camps and coaching clinics in the Seattle area, so he comes from good stock for sure.
He's a guy that had a great assist-to-turnover ratio last year. That's Lee stepping out. Oh, we talked about the backcourt starting to hit threes. All right, it's not them so far in this game. It's the bigs.
That's unbelievable. And think about it. You're talking about putting a game plan together, and if you're Damon Stoudemire, this is how we're going to beat them. And knock it down a big-time 3.
Lee gets a seat on the bench. Caleb Lohner, the big-time recruit, the freshman, comes onto the floor for the first time. Gets start early. Lohner, the big-time recruit, the freshman, comes onto the floor for the first time. Gets start earlier this year, and a chance for Pacific to grab a lead. On the push, it is Jenkins. Lead scorer on the season at 13.5 a game. You talked about last year, all conference as a freshman. They had not had that at Pacific since they joined the league 7 years ago. Jenkins on the big has an early advantage, and you can feel the energy being a little bit different after the double session of practices this week.
And you're good at what you emphasize. I'm sure coach is talking about, hey, we need to play more together. We need to play with pace coming out. The right guys taking the shots. Jenkins being one of their leading scorers, they'll take that all day long. Very good scoring.
I'm down to these teams deep, balanced, trying to find rhythms.
Now, BYU, they just wear you down with size. You know, those bodies, they're laying on you the entire game. You have to get them in ball screens. You have to get them out of the paint. Run offenses to force them on with size. You know, those bodies, they're laying on you the entire game. You have to get them in ball screens. You have to get them out of the paint. Run offenses to force them to move around, but you don't make shots so as they can stay packed in and not have to come out and extend their defense.
Marcelo kicked into the corner. Averette for 3. B now an early 4-point lead.
I mean, this vintage drive and kick basketball, that's the way you want to play. The only way to stop that, you have to stay in front of your man, put your body in front of him, and not give him an angle to get into the paint.
And remember, last year, BYU was the best three-point shooting team in all of college basketball, but some of the players from that, TJ Hawes, Yoli Childs, they're not part of it.
Into the paint.
And remember, last year, BYU was the best three-point shooting team in all of college basketball, but some of the players from that, TJ Hawes, Yoli Childs, they're not part of this team. They've moved on. Their careers ended when the tournament was canceled. Different story now. Averette lines it up again. Having a heck of a start. Brandon Averette's got 8, and BYU's up by 7.
Coach Polk spoke affectionately about him, transfer from Utah Valley, third school, and he's making the most of it right now. Really good player, very athletic.
Bailey left it really short. Finstoon saved it.
Really good player, very athletic.
Haley left it really short. Finstoon saved it. 5 on the shot clock. Back out to Crockrow. Has not made a three all year.
That three ball, Justin Moore, or he has not made a three the entire season. And we'll take that one for sure. Wow. I was giving Stoudemire a hard time, and you're a PG, and your PGs can't make threes. And Damon, you've never seen a shot you didn't like.
Lohner trying his hand at a triple, and the rebound for Finstoon.
And your PGs can't make threes. And Damon, you've never seen a shot you didn't like.
Lohner trying his hand at a triple, and the rebound for Finstoon.
I think the BYU strategy is let the Briggs make threes. What do you think?
I think the strategy is also let Pacific shoot the threes.
Wrenching from him because he knows what the road ahead, and also, Jason, considering that they didn't make the tournament last year because the tournament was canceled.
Costly turnovers on Wednesday afternoon down the stretch. Pacific is a team that, again, Damon Stoudemire, with his background, you'd expect him to take care of the basketball, and when they're good, they do. For Justin Moore, who you mentioned now coming off the bench, started his career at Georgia Tech. Last year was their second leading scorer. Pacific has found an offense here today, which they haven't had most of the year.
That's just pace and rhythm. You mentioned earlier about having double sessions. I'm sure they broke down every single part of their offense, watched it on film, and this young man, he's on fire right now.
No question about that. Averette already with 10 points, and we haven't played 6 minutes. Here in the opening half, he's already at his season average. Or worked his way into the paint. Worked his way into the paint.
On his back, getting to the rim, creating the offense, the opportunity for an offensive rebound tip in by Shaq.
Gideon George off the bench for BYU. Junior from Nigeria. They are excited about his couple of years. Really starting to play well. Takes the three. Cannot get the bounce. It's last 7-1.
Right. Stoudemire last year, the WCC Coach of the Year, done a tremendous job. Told us a great story about how he got into coaching. It's just, I think these Zooms have been unbelievable, Jason. We've been able to learn a lot.
Gets inside. Pacific much better today than what they have been. It has been such a grind for his team to find offense. Again, 4 games in the non-conference, including one against an NAI school, 4 in conference, including after a 24-day pause when they came out and beat Santa Clara.
Helping him, he was the AD at Rice, who's now the AD at Texas, and then Lionel Hollins hires him at Memphis, and then he works for the University of Memphis, and then goes to Arizona, and the rest is history. And that's what it's taken. I'm one of those guys, I'm a former player that played, and I like when former coach hires him at Memphis, and then he works for the University of Memphis, and then goes to Arizona, and the rest is history. And that's what it's taken. I'm one of those guys, I'm a former player that played, and I like when former players, shall I say, coach college basketball. And we got 2 former pros coaching today.
And Damon Stoudemire said he never had any thoughts of going into coaching, but then followed Braun around at Rice, who had his career at Cal and Eastern Michigan, winning 2 games with Derek Dial, and said, I never wanted to be a coach, but then I saw what he did, saw what it was like on the recruiting trail, got put on staff, and then, to your point, got hired by the Grizzlies. And Stoudemire last year led Pacific to its first winning record in 7 seasons. Kick it around. It's George again for the open pulls here in the early going.
And they're just sharing the basketball. They're creating a situation where you have to help on those bigs. Now when you commit to a double team, once you start chasing them, and they got really good smart players that are willing to be unselfish, they're tough to handle.
Floater and George,
right? Just great guys looking to give back.
On his staff came with him from Utah Valley. He built such a good program right there, not that far from Provo, on a half hour.
Said he got in trouble, right? With his daughters, right? Got in a little bit of trouble.
He said they were quite mad when he took the job. They were able to bounce back a little bit. Harms back on the floor. Lohner 6.5 boards per game for this BYU team.
Very bouncy, very athletic. Bright future.
So the athleticism right there. Gets 6'8" long, can get out on the point, playing Bailey right there.
Yeah, that allows them flexibility defensive-wise. They can put him in the game as a 3, and they can still play the other bigs at the 4 and the 5 spot.
There's Noel trying to drive baseline. Found Finstoon on the cut. Great look
And that's that when we're talking about that continuity, that's what double sessions, right? You're starting to find each other. You need that time to, okay, especially when you have a lot of transfers, who does this, who does that? Where should, that's what double sessions, right? You're starting to find each other. You need that time to, okay, especially when you have a lot of transfers, who does this, who does that? Where should I pass? Where am I cutting? All that's important in gaining that crucial practice time.
We are good. One shot and go.
Right.
Ford took it off the rim and went the length of the floor.
Yeah, you talk about my keys to the game. Create opportunities. And then on the other side with Brigham Young, they have to negate fast break points, and that was a fast break point.
Stepped in front and a steal from George.
And then on the other side with Brigham Young, they have to negate fast break points, and that was a fast break point.
Stepped in front and a steal from Jordan Bell. So Pacific's defense is starting to pick up a little bit, and they're clawing right back into this ballgame.
Yeah, when you're playing a big like that, you can't let him put his body on you. You got to force him to try to find you, use your quickness against his size.
Quick 5-0 Pacific run here as we go inside of 10 minutes in the opening half. Bell can't hit from beyond the arc. It's off the rim.
But I like it. You get a quality shot. You don't turn the ball over, which Pacific doesn't do a lot of, but you get a quality shot is the most important thing. What is the quality of your possession, you know?
Averette's had a heck of a half. Floats it off the rim. Bell pulls down, yet another rebound. To Pacific's point, right? You're talking about one turnover in 10 minutes, 53% from the floor. A team that doesn't shoot the three well has a couple. You'll take that offensively here in the opening half. Or is wide open.
Can't make those. This has been his struggle.
A team that doesn't shoot the three well has a couple. You'll take that offensively here in the opening half. Or is wide open.
Can't make those. This has been his struggle. 0 for 6 this year. But to your point a minute ago, here's the thing. If you play great lockdown defense and you play together on offense and don't turn it over, as you can see there, doing a 6 this year. But to your point a minute ago, here's the thing. If you play great lockdown defense and you play together on offense and don't turn it over, as you can see there, doing a great job on the bigs of BYU, you give yourself a chance to win. Or if you play together on offense and don't turn it over, as you can see there, doing a great job on the bigs of BYU, you give yourself a chance to win.
Moore was trying to get arms turned around. He didn't see Averette coming, and it's quickly Johnson, who had 15 points to lead the way for BYU, gets a seat on the bench. They hit 5 threes on Wednesday. Hit 5 here in the opening half. That's a step back for Danis Jenkins, who had a good start, now back on the floor. They hit 5 threes on Wednesday. Hit 5 here in the opening half. That's a step back for Danis Jenkins, who had a good start, now back on the floor. Look what I found, back to Finstone on another offensive rebound.
They're using their quickness again. BYU has a lot of size, but Pacific has the quickness, and they're scrappy.
For Super Bowl 55 coming your way next Sunday on CBS. Patrick Mahomes, Tom Brady. Not that you'll hear those two compared to each other enough the next 8 days.
And my homeboy, I love Patrick Mahomes, but you cannot argue with the greatness of Tom Brady. Back-to-back, but just for the sake of, I don't want to say sticking it to New England because I'm not a New England fan. I would love to see Tom Brady win it the way LeBron won it as well. Ageism, that's what I'm going to say. We're going to defy ageism. Going for the old guys.
Colby Lee trying to define statistics. Colby Lee trying to define statistics. He already made a 3 here in the opening half. Had just 4 coming into the ballgame.
But if you're Pacific, that's what you want him to do. If they're doing that, that's a great game plan for you, whether he can make them or not.
So connected with what they did off the floor, to your point, what they were trying to accomplish in a game that, you know, they saw change so drastically.
You need that. You need that. You have to speak truth to power. We don't always get it right. That would help kids, particularly kids of color, and they spoke out loud, and the game has out loud.
Of an offensive rhythm. They started so strong, but 5 turnovers in the last 5 minutes. All of a sudden they're out of an offensive rhythm. They started so strong, but 5 turnovers in the last 5 minutes. Triple there for Pacific trying to get the lead, and Harvard comes away with the board.
Because see, I don't like that shot. You know what I mean? Like, they've done a good job of moving BYU around, forcing them to play defense, and a shot fake 3 by Bailey. I think we can get a better one.
Averette, 4 of 7 from the floor. The rest of BYU, 4 of 10.
I think we can get a better one.
Averette, 4 of 7 from the floor. The rest of BYU, 4 of 10. Off the takeaway, up ahead to Jenkins.
To create offense, you got to create buckets. You have to get points off turnovers, and that's why they have the lead right now. They are really digging in defensively.
Marcelo got Jenkins.
Stoudemire with getting his team ready to play. Jason DeMarco, the good team, is a coach that gets his team to do what he wants them to do.
Brand Jenkins staying on the floor with 2 fouls. Shad is on the floor off the bench, also playing with 2 fouls, and George rips it.
Gets his team to do what he wants them to do.
Brand Jenkins staying on the floor with 2 fouls. Shad is on the floor off the bench, also playing with 2 fouls, and George rips it right out of his hands.
Yeah, big no-no. Don't put the ball on the floor. The little guys are there. They're going to take it every single.
Off the bench, also playing with 2 fouls, and George rips it right out of his hands.
Yeah, big no-no. Don't put the ball on the floor. The little guys are there. They're going to take it every single time. Have to be strong.
Rockwell, great move, couldn't finish. Comes back inbound.
Have to be strong.
Rockwell, great move, couldn't finish. Comes back inbounds to grab the offensive board. Back inbounds to grab the offensive board. But you know BYU likes to play with pace. Played a little bit out of control here. Cougars have not had a field goal in more than 6 minutes.
You got to credit Pacific just playing great defense, being solid, not fouling just like there. Looks like BYU. You got to credit Pacific just playing great defense, being solid, not fouling just like there. Looks like BYU's going to get a basket. They contest the shot. Now they're going back in transition. Looks like BYU's going to get a basket. They contest the shot. Now they're going back in transition.
Another takeaway. Trevin pulls up for 3. Way off the mark. Back inbound. One more shot. Another takeaway. Trevin pulls up for 3. Way off the mark. Back inbound. One more shot. Yeah. Connor Harding made sure to tell us that yesterday. Truth has been fixed. But he played the rest of that game. He only sat out for a play. And by the way, he was called for a foul on taking the elbow to the mouth.
That's an injury to insult, as they say. Was that insult to injury? There you go.
There you go. Very analytical on your part. 4 on the shot clock. The 3 for Pacific. Started this game 2 of you. That is like, it's a sense of pride will tell you that they actually would like to keep all their teeth.
Give you a chance to do a little cosmetic work. That's how you look at it. Marcello's going Kardashian on this. All good. To do a little cosmetic work. That's how you look at it. Marcello's going Kardashian on this. All good.
No, neither one has to pay for it, so.
There you go. This game's kind of slowed down with the scoring. Got a bit sloppy. But they're just digging in. It's all about figuring out what the strategy is. And I like right here, they're going inside to the big fella.
Barnes can't buy a bucket either. He hit a 3 early in this ballgame. To your point, this was a 6
defensive presence, and sometimes that hurts the offense. So, yeah, the offense not looking as good, but the defense is turned up for sure.
Averette had such a hot start, 10 points here in the first half, but he has been scoreless the last 6 and change. Another turnover. That is 8.
This is turned up for sure.
Averette had such a hot start, 10 points here in the first half, but he has been scoreless the last 6 and change. Another turnover. That is 8 here for the Cougars on their home floor.
They're being very physical with Marcello. They're not allowing him to have space on handoffs. They're just running through everything, and they're putting a lot of pressure on him.
Pacific held BYU to a 6.5-minute field goal drought. Now Jenkins cannot answer what is nearly a 3.5-minute Pacific drought.
Yeah, good action there. Ran him off a baseline screen. He curled over the top. You'll take that all day long. Got to knock that down. I'd like to see BYU just keep dumping it inside, whether something good happened or not. Just keep throwing it in there and getting fouls on the Pacific Tigers.
You get a foul right.
I'd like to see BYU just keep dumping it inside, whether something good happened or not. Just keep throwing it in there and getting fouls on the Pacific Tigers.
You get a foul right. or the game before, totally different here today.
It is, and give Coach Stoudemire, he knows his team. You know, he laments about not having enough time to spend with his guys, but when you get elite coaches like these guys are that know the game, that are former players, you know, they speed the process up a lot. And, you know, the thing with BYU is sometimes, Jason, maybe the 5 threes were fool's gold to start the game off. They're speed the process up a lot. And, you know, the thing with BYU is sometimes, Jason, maybe the 5 threes were fool's gold to start the game off. They're a pound the ball inside team. They need to get back to that.
Pacific might have to start getting into the paint too. Hit 2 of its first 3, but Tigers have now missed 6 straight from beyond the arc, and they are not a good three-point shooting team this season at 28%. Averette probes, kicks it out. Another missed 3 from BYU.
Harwood. Guys, we have the advantage inside. We have Harwood. We have Harms. Let's throw the ball into them, and let's create mismatches, or let's get them in foul trouble. Job. So they're trying to down the ball screens, which means not letting them use it, even though Jenkins still came off.
Price 3, and we are tied with 2 minutes to go here in the opening half.
Yeah, so the layman's eye, Harding, number 44, was supposed to not allow him to use it. They call it down in the screen. Jenkins still uses it, creates mismatches, creates them having to close out on people. 3-point shot. Bouncing the basketball. What you don't see is a lot of unnecessary bouncing. Guys are making hard cuts, play for each other, share the basketball, and you can be a good offensive team.
Gets playing with 2 fouls. Gets the screen from Bell and steps back deep in the shot clock.
You got a mismatch there. See if he goes at it.
Got Harwood on his heels. Got a good look at the shot, but another rebound coming. Bell and steps back deep in the shot clock.
You got a mismatch there. See if he goes at it.
Got Harwood on his heels. Got a good look at the shot, but another rebound coming the other way for BYU. Barcelo on the push. Averette thought about it, had a look, instead tougher into the paint. That's a trigger for BYU and an offensive board. And he can't put it in for BYU. Barcelo on the push. Averette thought about it, had a look, instead tougher into the paint. That's a trigger for BYU and an offensive board. And he can't put it in for BYU. Barcelo on the push. Averette thought about it, had a look, instead tougher into the paint. That's a trigger for BYU and an offensive board. And he can't put it in.
You got to take your time. Howard's got to finish that one. Either you got to finish that or you have to get fouled. Let's see if they can get something going. Again, I hate to beat a dead horse. Throw the ball inside and go to your bigs.
Well, this is an experienced Pacific squad as well, right? Both these teams have some youth, but a 1-point Cougars lead as we approach the final 25 seconds to go in this opening half in Provo.
Look for a ball screen here, possibly for Justin Moore, him getting to the rim, trying to create something for his teammate, or a pick and pop situation with Bell or Bailey.
Jenkins almost lost it. 7 here in the opening half. Deep in the shot clock. Jenkins again, foot on the line. Tough shot and banked it in. Tough shot and banked it in.
Wow. How about that? How about that? They're just in the flow. Deserve.
Exact same thing, too. They lost by 46 the last time they played to Gonzaga last Saturday and have a totally different game today against the Cougars.
Where everyone says when you play Gonzaga, that's a gut punch like you wouldn't believe. And sometimes you have to throw that game away. And here you again, see that play.
In his career, Central Wyoming College and then at Casper College, also in Wyoming. Master started 16 times. He's had a different impact here today all around, affecting this ball game. This is the largest lead of the day for the Tigers. Barcelo got caught. Harms
just got a little lucky there. Sometimes you'd rather be lucky than good, but points in the paint. We'd love to see the team in white start to really emphasize pounding the ball inside.
Now, in all fairness, should that count? That was supposed to be a pass to the perimeter.
It should count. Absolutely. So the half-court shot count? Yes, it should count.
Benstoon off the curl, pulled down by Lee. Count. That was supposed to be a pass to the perimeter.
It should count. Absolutely. So the half-court shot count? Yes, it should count.
Benstoon off the curl, pulled down by Lee. And we'll see if the emphasis is for Mark Pope to go inside, right? Lee, Harms, they hit threes early. Wonder if they fell in love with it. Averette had a great first half with 13 points.
That was the last factor in this game. Got his chance to get him a little two-handed hammer. keep harking back to the point where I just want to see them give off this ball screen, roll, replace action. I'll even get Barcello going because they're worried about the bigs diving to the rim.
Well, and he only took one shot in the first half. We highlighted only 8 points a game the last couple against Pepperdine. Could not shoot well last Saturday in this building. Struggled from the floor on their floor on Wednesday. Maybe the emphasis will be get him the ball more. Bell steps back, rolled out a three. Saturday in this building. Struggled from the floor on their floor on Wednesday. Maybe the emphasis will be get him the ball more. Bell steps back, rolled out a three.
Again, you can say that to get him the ball more. Maybe he's like, maybe I need to get my teammates more involved because I'm not flowing right now, but rotate. Already on the floor, there was 4 guys. They have to do a better job of rotating over and finding the shooter. Doesn't matter if you have a man. You got to make sure you track the ball. The ball is the most important thing.
That's good defense. Connor Harding having an
most important thing.
That's good defense. Connor Harding having an impact here. First couple of minutes. Not a starter. Started 12 games this season. We talked about last year as well. Finding his new role off the bench. But starting here in the second half with the defense. And again, he's one of your leaders on this team. A guy that certainly can knock down a shot averaging 6 a game.
You need those guys, those dirty work guys, those Swiss Army knives that can do anything on the floor and willing to give their game up for their team. Their game up for their team. Pleasure talking to him yesterday about what it takes to be on a talented team. And Jay, we haven't even talked about this. We're talking about a team that plays 10 guys.
Right. And would have played 11 had it not been for the injury to Gavin Baxter early this season.
Like the flow of Pacific the first half, and now it looks like they're out of sorts a little bit. Got to get that, regain that same flow you had the first half. They've got those good shots.
They did get an open look. Bailey
Harding, you have shooters, you have jump. They're on the other side, so you got to ask yourself, can I help on the big or do I leave a three-point shooter? That's why that ball screen action is great. You hear them calling their call. They took up Pierre Cockrell. They go under the screen because it was so high.
Crashing the boards hard. Lee couldn't tap it.
On their call, they took up Pierre Cockrell. They go under the screen because it was so high.
Crashing the boards hard. Lee couldn't tap it off the rim.
Even though there was a miss there by Harms, I like that type of action, getting him involved in the game. Now, Pacific coming down one-shot game.
The rim.
Even though there was a miss there by Harms, I like that type of action, getting him involved in the game. Now, Pacific coming down one-shot game. Work the clock, right? Make this an ugly game, right? Shrink that clock and get a great shot or get to the foul line.
And that's an offensive energy, right? Sometimes all of it there for Matt Painter on that team that made the Elite Eight run. Losing to Virginia on the squad that went on to win the national championship. And Harms spending his final year of collegiate eligibility here in Provo.
Defensive strategy of Pacific, Damon Stoudemire, when he comes off that ball screen, they're corralling and they're on the backside. They're loading the paint. They're not allowing that dump pass. You're gonna have to get in the lane. You have to skip it to the other side of the floor.
The fronting Jenkins now finally gets the ball. Spencer Johnson on the floor. He's going to end a drought that's now over 4 minutes long for the Tigers. It's more deep in the shot clock. Looked up, has to get rid of it. Lohner now off the bench. 4 minutes long for the Tigers. It's more deep in the shot clock. Looked up, has to get rid of it. Lohner now off the bench, pulls down his third rebound.
You can feel the grips of defense tighten up. Good shot fake there.
And the take and the block.
That? Yeah, you talk about them being on the 11 seed right now in the NCAA tournament with projections, and they need to win this game. But that's a remarkable accomplishment. And you talk about the University of Houston and what Kevin Sampson has built, and he hasn't done. He's in the game, but that's a remarkable accomplishment. And you talk about the University of Houston and what Kevin Sampson has built, and he hasn't done. He's one of my Final Four teams right now.
Bailey was fouled on
2 in a row. You talk about whatever it is. And Coach Pope talked about how upset those guys were at each other and how upset he was at himself.
He also told us how physical the game.
A shooter lifting up on the same side when he's coming off, if he gets really aggressive and plays with confidence, it can be really hard for Pacific in that ball screen action.
More off the screen.
Oh, really hard for Pacific in that ball screen action.
More off the screen. Oh, the last 7 for the Tigers have not hit a shot in 5.5 minutes.
I really like Loner. He's so athletic. Kid from my home state as well. But Jason, I love all my Texas guys. I got to give my Texas guys love.
So athletic, his emphasis all over the game, but again, Shad met him at the rim. That's the second time with the effort.
Texas guys, I got to give my Texas guys love.
So athletic, his emphasis all over the game, but again, Shad met him at the rim. That's the second time with the effort to try and get there with the dunk, and Nigel Shad had the effort both times.
Transfer from Kansas State. He's one of those guys when you talk about transferring down to a level, and I hate to use that phrase, transferring down, but he can make an impact more so than he could have made an impact in the Big 12.
He had injuries his entire career there. Used the screen. Moore knocked in the shot. First field goal in nearly 6 minutes. And it's back to a 1-point game.
They're picking on Barcelo.
We highlighted this at the half. Points in the paint. Pacific 10-2 in the first half. And what did you highlight coming into this game? The size and the versatility of the bigs for BYU and how many they have. Pacific has done a phenomenal job negating that and the versatility of the bigs for BYU and how many they have. Pacific has done a phenomenal job negating that in this ballgame.
It just brings physicality and credit their game plan of keeping the paint clogged up and gang rebound of the fast break and moving the ball around. No matter what Pacific is doing and you feel like they're doing a great job, you never feel like BYU is not in control of the game. You know, it just always seems to make a play, you know, and my thing is when they get down to playing really good teams on the road or you get to the NCAA tournament, it just always seems to make a play, you know, and my thing is when they get down to playing really good teams on the road or you get to the NCAA tournament, you got to play with a little bit more consistency.
Averette with his 16 points coming off that 3 has made 4 here in the ball game.
Back him down, crab dribble down, go over that left shoulder.
Dynamic offensive rebounder, right? Energy, guy that fought after transferring to Utah Valley and sitting out last year and struggling with it. Wasn't playing at the level that he thought he could. He turned around a little bit this season, but today's been a little bit more of a struggle.
And plus they haven't gone inside as much as they normally do. For him, but again,
turned around a little bit this season, but today's been a little bit more of a struggle.
And plus they haven't gone inside as much as they normally do for him, but again, sometimes different game plans call for different situations and solutions, and they still have a 4-point lead regardless.
George finds himself open, left that short.
Situations and solutions, and they still have a 4-point lead regardless.
George finds himself open, left that short. Now Pacific had a 35-31 lead, taking a while. BYU on a 12-4 run. The Tigers here in the second half. Just 2 of 11 from the floor.
George 1 for 5 from 3. It's a reason why you're open. They're going to allow you to shoot it and drive that basketball. Use your athleticism.
This is the guy that's got to make it happen. Barcelo steps back for 3. Wow. That's a good look.
I know. More. They need to get some stops and get in transition or create some turnovers and try to put some points on the board.
Now, BYU takes 24 threes a game. They have taken 25 with 11 and a half to play.
You know, when I played against Syracuse and coached against Syracuse, when they shoot those long threes, those were opportunities to get out and run because they were long rebounds. 25 threes, there should be more opportunities to run in transition.
It's a good look for Moore. Bell found himself open.
You know, give Coach Stoudemire all the credit out of a timeout. I've said before, you're coming off that ball screen. Those bigs cannot negotiate those ball screens. When you have bigs that can pick and pop, it takes advantage of those bigs that are immobile like that.
Barcelo finished it off. struggling from beyond the arc, but 6 of his 8 points have come in the second half.
Yeah, they keep him in that ball screen, but you have to ask yourself how you're going to guard the ball screen when he comes off. There's no one there to hedge it, which means you stop his momentum and they come down and knock down 2 tray balls.
Bailey had been 0 of 5 from beyond the arc. Knocked that one in. Tied up again.
Isn't it amazing how the 3-ball changes everything? You're never out of the game when you can make threes. Threes and dunks gets everybody excited. Now that game.
That being said, he's had good looks at 3, though.
Yes, but again, you're 1 for 5. But I'm telling you, in the flow of this game, it hasn't worked for him. So now do what you do. Be athletic and get to the rim because there's no one there that can stop you.
All right, inside of 10 minutes here. The under 12 media timeout's coming at the next whistle. This is the first timeout of the half came from Coach Stoudemire inside of 12. Bell. Well, he hit the first one, wasn't sure where to pass it. Let me take it again.
Yeah, it's into the shot clock there. Not a great look. You get in a tight game where it's a 1-possession game like that. Every possession matters. Point guard has to come get the ball from him and get into underclock offense. Yeah, gotta love it. Getting to the rim, doing what he does best, not scoring. We mentioned in the break, not scoring, but still having an imprint on his game.
Well, not scoring. 7 rebounds, 6 assists. Alex,
tough for anybody to beat you. It's a lot of points.
BYU has made 9 tonight. 36% for beyond the arc. Averette leading all scorers with 16 has the Cougars. Had much of their offense in the first half with 13, and the step back is off. And Bell clears the glass. Pacific's doing a really good job of guarding ball screens. They're trying to get those bigs to helping so they can throw lobs to the BYU bigs, and they're doing a good job of covering, loading up, and forcing the guards to have to make shots. Been a balanced scoring attack, too, for Pacific. Nobody in double figures just yet. Jenkins had 9 in the first half, has not scored here in the second half. Bell on the kick out. Good look. Price Noel. Find a rhythm from beyond the arc.
It's the same as we talked about the first half. It's just confidence, and you can see the elation on the bench. That's what happens. When you get these guys to getting closer, as Coach Stoudemire said, we just need more time together, and we can figure out this guy likes to pass here. He's driving. I'm ready to shoot it. It's just what it takes is connectivity.
Johnson. Tough drive, taken all the way. Arms battled down low.
I guess those double sessions paid off, Jason.
After a while, you don't want to see each other anyway.
Well, they don't have a choice right now with COVID. They see each other a lot.
You and I are only together 2 or 3 times a week, and I feel that way.
I want to see more from BYU. Throw it inside from that box. Let him crab dribble to the middle of the lane. That's where he's most comfortable. And then they either got to stop him or he's going to get to that foul line. I thought you liked hanging out with me.
I do. I learn new things about you every single day. Pacific trying to tie it up here. 7.5 to go. Had the lead at the break. Push the advantage to 4. Deep in the shot clock again, and Moore's got to go. No change of possession. Shot clock didn't turn off, and it didn't be done for the final 7-12.
Yeah, but think about it, Jason. This is what I was talking about before. If they pound the ball inside, he might have been out a lot sooner than that and not have made some of those defensive plays that he made.
Go back to Harwood. Didn't have any room. Bell did a phenomenal job.
Some of those defensive plays that he made.
Go back to Harwood. Didn't have any room. Bell did a phenomenal job.
Can ask for a better 3, a step-in 3, off a kick out from the post. Gonna knock that down.
Jenkins hasn't scored here in the second half. Led Pacific with 9 in the opening 20 minutes. The leading scorer at nearly 14 a game. That's Moore. Had a good game off the bench. Bell for 3. Mount was a 7-point-a-game scorer. The intensity on the interior, can step back out and shoot the 3. And Pacific has retaken the lead. One that they had in the first couple of minutes here of the second half. Now with less than 6.5 to play.
They've had a good game plan. And I've said before, BYU's had control of this game. I like going inside over their left shoulder all day. Because if you throw it inside and he gets it that deep, there is no way they can stop them. And Jason, that's what I've been harping on the entire game.
And then on the defensive side, that work's got to be done before the ball goes in.
Definitely has got to be done before that. But it also has to be an intention that that's what you want to do offensively.
12 points in the paint here in the second half after just 2 for BYU in the first.
Look for some ball screen action. Can you look at that pick and pop action?
Bell tipped it back up.
Look for some ball screen action. Can you look at that pick and pop action?
Bell tipped it back up.
Look for some ball screen action. Can you look at that pick and pop action?
Bell tipped it back up as well, and the seesaw back Pacific's way.
Yeah, he's playing really tough. He's got that physical body and those long arms. He's making threes in a pick and pop situation and also getting tap-ins. It's going to be tough. Right now it's winning time. 5 and some change. BYU down 1 at home.
They go right back there. Back over the left shoulder. Same result.
There's a ton of film on these guys. I mean, it's that particular box, and let him go over that shoulder. You mentioned a point before. Do your work before the guy gets the ball. That also works on the defensive end. You can't allow him to get it there because you can't stop him once he does. He's too big. See, they switched the ball screen there. Wow, how about that? Tip your hat. They come off the ball screen, they pick, and they popped, right? So because the big has to help, then they switch it, and now he knocks down a 3 in front of the big. Wow, how about that?
Marcelo just hammered on the drive.
We went on the road because it was the best feeling in the world. Party bus, party plane. It was the most unbelievable feeling. Not that winning at home is not fun, but winning on the road on somebody else's court is fantastic.
Well, and for Pacific, especially coming off the 2 games that they played, back-to-back losses after wins over Santa Clara and Loyola Marymount, coming off of a 24-day COVID pause with a 1-point lead on the road. Here at BYU, a team that has not lost back-to-back games in any of the last 2 years. Extra pass again. More on the drive. Great dump down to Hampshire.
This game.
I'm pretty sure what he said is Rasheed Wallace did that.
You know what I used to call David Stoudemire? I used to call him Mighty Mouse. I'm like, this dude's like Mighty Mouse. He could really score the ball.
Well, and he had that tattoo on his arm as well. Still does. Marcelo has 9 of his 11 here in the second half and has taken over. 11 points, 7 boards, 7 assists. His team down by 1.
Yeah, Missy's doing everything right now. Just a crafty guard. I remember, even when I remember him at Arizona, you just knew that this kid had a knack for scoring. He can.
Jerry Palm on Friday after the loss to Pepperdine dropped them from a 9 to an 11, and a loss at home to Pacific, which for now would be a quad 3 loss. You wonder what that would do, at least here as we approach February.
Yeah, you definitely want to get this one at home. Don't want to be in a situation where you got to play catch up with the NCAA tournament bids because you don't know how this thing's going to all play out. See, that's what either been Barcelo, even those highlights, getting to the rim, right? Going over the shoulder of that left shoulder by Harvard, and that move there by getting in the paint.
Well, can they get it stopped, though? Because Pacific has hit 4 straight and 6 of its last 7. And this guy's been the key of it. Bryce Noel, who lost the ball.
Yeah, I think that was a careless. I don't even know if that was a deflection. Just careless with the basketball. It's not the right time to turn the ball over, unfortunately.
No, they have taken care of the basketball here tonight. Inside to Barcelo. It was fouled.
He's always been a savvy player. I mentioned again about even when he was at Arizona, and I would do a scouting report. I've had an Arizona scouting report. I say, this guy makes threes. This guy's a baller. And so you're seeing right now that he's multidimensional for sure.
Jenkins was mad at the basket. Averette with offensive play.
See if they continue to work that ball screen action. Great block.
Jump ball.
See if they continue to work that ball screen action. Great block.
Jump ball. You highlighted this when we started the second half. They cannot be a team with the size that they have that doesn't look in the paint, and they have done that here in the second half.
And you mentioned, that they've taken a ton of threes, but it always comes down to game planning. What's going to win the game? Not what your identity is to a degree, or what. I forgot he played with the big dog. Great career. Talked about Coach Patino affectionately yesterday. Really wants to help his guys get jobs. I really appreciate that from the head coach.
That was a heck of a look, and an offensive board by Bell, who was fouled
yesterday. Really wants to help his guys get jobs. I really appreciate that from the head coach.
That was a heck of a look, and an offensive board by Bell, who was fouled. Go.
Jason, look for some ball screen action with Marcelo. It's been working great, or look for him to throw it inside.
3 timeouts left for BYU. Barcelo tries to penetrate.
Coming off with that right hand off the ball screen. I would trap him. I would trap him and force him to, because when he force him to make a pass, when he comes off with his right hand, he's tough.
Moore's been the facilitator here in the second half, trying to answer. Tough shot. Good defense. Moore to the floor. It's off of position.
Can't do that. You have to hope that your help on the weak side is taking care of that big, and you have to stop him.
Tigers need to stop. Averette has 16, 13 of those came in the first half. On the drive and the dump down, and he threw it away.
A jump pass, Cardinals send.
Averette has 16, 13 of those came in the first half. On the drive and the dump down, and he threw it away.
A jump pass, Cardinals send, don't jump in the air on a pass.
Points and 4 assists off the bench. Possession arrow to Damon Stoudemire's squad. Inside of 45 to go, tied at 64.
A screen.
60.
A ball screen, getting to the rim with Moore.
Pacific has 1 timeout if it needs it. Moore's got the ball and a mismatch with Lohner on it. Takes him into the paint, kicks it back outside to Bailey. Jenkins, floater.
But look for them getting Barcelo coming out and then going right straight to the rim.
Tried to get it to him. He was dumped to the floor. No foul. Lohner on the drive. He is fouled.
A very good passer. You try to get it going to the rim.
Here's the inbounds. At the buzzer. Half court for Jenkins and the win. Back in December in overtime, 74-72. And both these teams had opportunities to win the ball game down the stretch. Caleb Lohner missed a pair of free throws with 3.2 remaining. Nobody picked up Averette, and he's fouled.
Problems for the BYU guards.
There's Bryce Noel. 8 of his 12 came in the second half. Hit 3 triples here in the ball game. Moore got stuck. Jenkins only had 2 in the second half. Starting to struggle, continues. Kept alive by Moore. Got stuck. Jenkins only had 2 in the second half. Starting to struggle, continues. Kept alive by
got the tipped it to himself. I saw it when the shot went up. He worked himself into position. Great job there. Terrific finish.
Harding, the deep triple, puts B.
Not helping on those drives and staying with shooters. Harding with a clutch 3-point shot there.
Bell, he got Lohner in the air and then kick out to Bailey, the extra pass.
Look at BYU tracking him down. I thought Bell should have shot that.
Then he tracks down the offensive rebound. Bell's got 8 and then kick out to Bailey, the extra pass.
Look at BYU tracking him down. I thought Bell should have shot that.
Then he tracks down the offensive rebound. Bell's got 8 boards here in this ball game.
You don't want to give a team coming on the road extra possessions. You want to close it out with a one-shot game. And look what one should have been there to help him on that drive. But no fight, no quit, shall I say. And these Tigers, they keep clawing back.
And another opportunity.
It's just concentration. It's concentration. It's one of those things when you watch film the next day, you know it. You're just thinking about what that film session is going to be like because you know you didn't do your job. Great move.
Tried to draw the foul. Moore couldn't believe he didn't get it.
You know it. You're just thinking about what that film session is going to be like because you know you didn't do your job. Great move.
Tried to draw the foul. Moore couldn't believe he didn't get it.
Sometimes when you drive and you're trying to get that contact, you're looking at the defender. Keep your eyes on the rim. Good job there not fouling.
Barcelo the floor.
Going right. You cannot allow him to do that. You got to hedge that screen. You got to check him. Can't let him get that line, that direct line to the basket. He gets downhill, it's over.
Well, he's a great three-point shooter, struggling in conference, and he has done all of his work inside of the arc here tonight.
Yeah, he is, but you can't let him get that, again, that going downhill with no resistance. He's too good of a player. Oh, good move.
Bell got
UCC basketball on fire right now. Obviously, Gonzaga, big-time team in this league, but these two teams right here, they are going at it. This is a slugfest right now. See how they hedged that screen. Bell hedged out that time and did not allow Barcelo to turn the corner.
And he was fronting on Harward, too. Would not let him get his feet in the paint. Have given up opportunities here tonight. You've lost two of your bigs.
They have lost two of their bigs, but they have been very scrappy. And how about BYU just not? Upperclassman steps to the line and bangs down two.
Barcelo almost lost it. Back out to Harding.
And he had an angle to the rim. Great pass.
Harward's way.
Spencer Johnson with a left-handed dime. Wow. If I'm Pacific, I'm running that same action. Put him in the ball screen. Force those bigs. Force Harvard to have to guard. There is a situation right now. He's got him in a mismatch. Can't guard him. Unguardable. And they're saying, okay, you're going to have to guard this or we'll dive our big and we're going to have the advantage inside.
Well, and you got a veteran, right? You've got fourth and fifth year players making those decisions. Barcelo, that too, couldn't finish. Bell with that rip away. Bell with that rip away for what is now a double-double.
But think, which way did Barcelo go in that time? Left.
Still in a good look.
Yeah, definitely had a good look.
Inside of a minute to go, Pacific lead, trying to get one on the road in what has been such a difficult season. Two COVID-19 pauses lasting each about 3 weeks. Trying to get one here on the Cougars' home floor. Bell lowered the shoulder. There were struggles for Harward in the first 25 minutes of this ball game, but down the stretch, now 8 points. He had gone to him in the paint. Bell now has 4 fouls as well, with Bailey and Shad both fouling out. There's the guy, Harward, and he will have to earn for a tie.
I always say, Jason, freedom ain't free. Freedom is not free. Tough at the line. Wow.
Missed the ball. Finstone saved it. And about a 3-second differential.
I mean, you're going to have to foul because they're going to probably call a timeout. Or he's going to let him play. Just hold it out. I would just hold it out. Yeah, good job. Yeah.
Pair here deep in overtime. His team trails by 2 with 24 seconds and counting. Here at the Marriott Center.
Yeah, plenty of time to look for that same type of action going right. As I said, I mean, it's put him in the ball screen and force him to either switch, sprint up, and see what happens.
He's down to the post here. Inside of 10 seconds to go for Pacific. Bryce Noel pulls up for the 2. Bounces off. It's tapped around. BYU's got it. A 2-loss. Pacific on your home floor is a quad 3 game. And so that is certainly a big deal here as the Cougars are trying to pull this one out at home.
Yeah, they certainly are. And you ask who's the pressure on. The pressure is definitely on the home team. They have to figure out a way to get this thing done. And I like where they're going inside against Hampshire.
Right, Nigel Shad is fouled out. Jordan Bell went to the bench with a double-double. Jeremiah Bailey hit a couple of clutch shots down the stretch. Those guys are all sitting on the sideline here in double overtime.
But I like what BYU is doing. Get it in the paint. That's where you got to get your money right now to win this game. As foul trouble has gotten all those key guys out of the game, and now you got to find a way to take advantage of that.
Jenkins had it stolen away from him. He's going to stay on the floor.
Pocatello Idol. I've been there before. Pocatello.
Recruiting trip?
Oh, yeah.
Nice. Largest advantage for BYU. There in the second half. They led by 7 early in the game. Pacific came back, had a halftime lead. This was a game played within 1 possession, the final 9 minutes of regulation and overtime. More on the take, and he's fouled. 123 games, began his career at Georgia Tech, wanted to come back to his home state of California. His team down by 3. Approaching 3:45 to go. Barcelo turns the corner again, off the glass. No. Hampshire is hurt. His team down by 3. Approaching 3:45 to go. Barcelo turns the corner again, off the glass. No. Hampshire is hurt.
I mean, I'm sure when Coach Stoudemire watches this tape, and he's going to be mad at me, but I'm going to say, Damon, trapped the ball screen. He's come off the same plate every single time, and Hampshire couldn't get there, which gave Harms the easy layup because he's trying to block the shot.
Moore trying to prove you wrong. And does. You said he couldn't hit a 3. He just made his first on the season.
I didn't say couldn't. BYU guards the ball screen because both teams are setting ball screens. And we'll see the strategy of what they're going to do and how they're going to guard it. Just play both teams down the stretch. Pacific not generally a good free throw shooting team.
They have shot the ball better tonight from the floor and beyond the arc than they have all season long. Not in any individual game, but as a general rule.
See how they brought that ball screen there. They did what they called down it, and they
21 points, 9 rebounds, 7 assists for the fifth-year senior from Chandler, Arizona. Clutch free throws. Jenkins.
Great cut.
Extra pass. Hampshire. Harms cut him off. He took it anyway.
Bella Harms, an elite shot blocker. It's a tall task for anybody in this country to score over him.
This is a must-stop for Pacific. Jenkins cut him off. That time more help with the help.
Yeah, definitely. Good job there. That would have been helpful about 20 plays ago.
That was a good defensive possession. Harding stuck with it for the three. No. Harms with the offensive rebound.
That would have been helpful about 20 plays ago.
That was a good defensive possession. Harding stuck with it for the three. No. Harms with the offensive rebound.
The court opened the paint up a little bit more.
Down by 7. Matches the largest lead of the ball game. Jenkins.
I think they're a pretty good team. They may be playing too many guys. You know, sometimes from a culture standpoint, you want to play as many guys as possible. But when they're clicking, if Barcelo can make threes and they can get that balance between those bigs and what they can do from the perimeter, they'll still be a dangerous team.
Barcelo's got the ball. Finstone cut him off. Inside of 10 on the shot clock.
Plenty of time on the clock. No need to panic. You got to get stopped right now.
Averette steps back, got the space.
Big time. It's what it takes. It's what it takes. The popcorn starts popping. Do you show up? That's what I always say. You can do it in practice. You can do it when it doesn't count. But when it counts, do you show up? That gentleman showed up today. No, you can do it when it doesn't count. But when it counts, do you show up? That gentleman showed up today.
No question. Averette, Barcelo, both have top 20. Big time three, doesn't fall. Jenkins knocked it out of
the way he shot the ball this game. I don't know if there was a mental lapse by Jenkins there to go under.
Down by 8 with 48 seconds. You got to foul.
Definitely have to foul. Looks like coach is going to concede this one.
The way that his team is playing, that's one that's tough. Instead, it's Averette on the drive. 10-point lead. BYU had to fight Pacific. Scratch and claw all the way down the stretch. But the Cougars look like they're going to pull this one off. He's across the board in terms of amount of games played.
Yeah.
But BYU had to fight back. They overcame some late missed free throws, both in regulation and overtime. And now 3 wins. Most that they had. His took over a program that won 8 games the year prior. They're going to come up a little bit short here tonight in Provo. That looked like it went through. It did not hit the bottom of the rim in the backcourt. Moore takes it to 8 games the year prior. They're going to come up a little bit short here tonight in Provo. That looked like it went through. It did not hit the bottom of the rim in the backcourt. Moore takes it to